Good Wednesday morning, guys. Thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille Network on a show presented by Yes Realty Partners. We are live in downtown Charlottesville on a day that is finally dry. I think I saw Noah's Ark float down Market Street yesterday, Tuesday, where we had, 14 straight hours of rain? Maybe more, 15 hours of rain. I saw 2 giraffes. I saw 2 beagles. I saw 2 labs. I saw 2 lizards. I saw 2 lions. I only saw 1 Keith Smith, though.
We spent too much time because I was thinking, I'm going to say exactly that.
I'm not sure Smith made Noah's Ark.
No,
there was only one. Don't they go in pairs, Judah, onto the Ark of Noah?
Noah just looked at me and went, yeah, I don't think so.
Noah looked at Keith and said, you stick...
yeah, I don't think so. Learn how to swim.
Yourself over
Learn how to swim.
Is that a new jacket, my friend?
That...
I don't think I've seen you wear that jacket.
It is not a new jacket. You know what? Yeah, this thing is probably as old as you.
Okay, fantastic. So that jacket is 35 years old.
I bought this in probably 83.
83?
Maybe before that, no. Let me see. Probably 81, 82.
That jacket is 40 plus years old?
Yep.
40 plus year old jacket. It's held up well.
Not that we need to talk about my closet habits.
What's the purchase price of a 42, 43 year old jacket? Donna Patton, we're going to sing you a happy birthday. Get ready, Donna. Get ready, Donna Patton.
I mean, now or then?
No, then.
I don't remember.
I mean, you have a ballpark, don't you?
I don't remember.
I mean, are we talking like $25?
No. It was in the hundreds, I'm sure.
No way.
Well, so
not a chance in HE double hockey sticks that a jacket purchased in 1981 is in the hundreds of dollars.
The reason I don't know that is the duty that I was on. The Marine Corps gave us money to buy, because we never wore uniforms, to wear jackets and suits and stuff like that. So that came part of that. I can't remember what it was, but the reason I need to look at the label because I bought it up in D.C. Anyway, yeah.
Can you figure out what the cost is of a jacket? I just out of curiosity.
Well, it depends.
Inflation?
It depends.
Well, no, I know it
what
depends
you're buying, right?
I know. I totally get that.
Yeah. So my suspicion is at the time this was probably a couple $100. If you looked at the label, you would know why.
Okay. Holly Foster says actually Gosling's Black Sea rum with some boiling water with honey and lemon. That works great for you.
So that reminds me of my mother-in-law's, God rest her soul, mother-in-law's solution to this. Holly.
Okay. What is it? Get hammered?
It could be where I'm ending up with this story.
Okay.
But
because they're Austrian, right?
They're Austrian.
They enjoy something wet.
But Yonna's home place, right? This is what you get when the good doctor's not showing up.
Lisa Sturtevant.
Is a village in Lower Austria that it's like 35, 33 homes in it. The brewery in it celebrated its 1,250th year of continuing operation, just to tell you how old this stuff. But the answer for her was local honey, has to be local honey, hot tea, and cognac.
Okay.
And keep on drinking them until you don't give a shit no more.
There you go.
There you go. And that's the solution to it. But thank you, Holly, for it. I do like my rum in tea, as those who watch the show. So thank you. So
happy birthday, Donna.
Ready to do
the solution to a lot of things.
Are you three-shotting? Are you three-shotting, Judah, so people can see it?
Look at Judah. Judah's like so engaging today.
I know.
Good for you, buddy.
Wet the whistle.
You wet the whistle.
See what happens.
Look what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a funny video about singing "Happy Birthday."
Okay.
It was they were at a teppanyaki restaurant and they wanted the server to sing "Happy Birthday" in Japanese. He didn't know a lick of Japanese, so he started singing.
Make it to Donna. Sing it to Donna.
Well, he just starts singing Mitsubishi Nissan.
Sing it to Donna. Mitsubishi Nissan Donna.
Mitsubishi Nissan
Donna Patton.
Oh God.
Happy birthday,
Happy
John.
birthday.
We
Happy
sincerely mean that.
Happy
I miss you in the studio. We love that you. I enjoy your company. I enjoy when you come on the show. You are an oracle of knowledge. One of my favorite things about you is your commitment and affinity to rescuing animals, in particular dogs. Your love for canines is something that we all share here.
And you know why she's awesome? Because only the awesome people are born kind of around the 10th or the 11th. Just saying.
Oh yeah, Keith's birthday is tomorrow.
Just saying, the awesome people
Wish
are
Keith
born.
Smith a happy birthday.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Mrs. Smith comes in with a cupcake before the end of the
Oh,
show.
we're
So
gonna
we'll
see Yonna with a cupcake.
Well, no. You know,
And then
as
we can all
Donna,
sing- we can all sing Mitsubishi.
that reminds me, God's on my hand, my left hand to God's ear, right? Reminds me of a true story. It's my words to God. Whatever. Behave, will you? There was a guy grew up that was in the city, in New York, in Brooklyn, that was Italian, that thought he could speak Italian because he can say manigat, lasagna, ziti. I went, dude, that doesn't mean you can't speak.
Manja.
That
Yeah.
means you can't speak Italian.
Manja.
But anyway, thank you for sharing that with us.
What are you going to do for your birthday? I think we got no show Friday
We have
because
no
of your
show
birthday.
Friday
Your
because
birthday,
of it.
right?
Yeah. I'm very lucky. Yvonne and Houston.
That's his daughter and son-in-law.
And
They live in Richmond.
And thank you. And Yonna, or I have a surprise dinner somewhere in Richmond tomorrow night.
Okay. The Real Talk with Keith Smith airs at 10:15 in the morning.
We're going to spend the night with them.
Okay.
And then
On Thursday evening.
On Thursday evening.
Okay.
Thank you for the reminder when we do the show. It's
Okay.
only been almost 5 years and 3 days a week. I do tend to forget what time we do this. But I'm going to hang out for the first half of the day with baby Ray.
Oh, that's awesome.
My
Congratulations.
1-year-old granddaughter. I'm
absolutely
excited.
beautiful.
That is, I wish I could have all of them around, but the other ones are up in Connecticut. But that is going to be my little birthday gift, is to spend the first half of the day hanging out with a little 1-year-old that actually thinks I'm cool.
You are cool.
Eventually, she's going to get wise to that.
Oh, you're a
And
cool
to do
guy.
that.
I bet you're a fantastic. What do they call you? Pappy?
No, Pop Dad.
Pop Dad.
Pop Dad.
Pop Dad
Pop
made
Dad.
it from Connecticut to Richmond, I see. The moniker.
It did.
Because
Once you get stuck with one of these things, you get stuck with one.
Oh,
of these
you're
things.
like monikered, you're branded for life?
something like that.
Pop Dad is a mouthful. Our boys call the two grandfathers Gramps or Pee-Pee.
We were very fortunate. Baby Ravenna, because she's so awesome, was born on the 7th of January. Again, more, awesomeness if you're in January. It's just an awesome month, right? And we had, if you're ever in Richmond and you like cupcakes, go to Cameo Cakery. They make these, probably the best cupcakes you could buy, from my perspective, you can buy. And they have this super huge birthday cupcake. And of course, when you give that to a 1-year-old, you know what's going to happen. They're going to be all over it and putting their hands in it and put it in their face. I don't understand when a 60-plus-year-old guy does that. People think it's a little weird, but it was putting all that kind of stuff in our face. But this was so cool, and we were so blessed. There was 2 sets of grandparents and 1 set of great-grandparents celebrating this kid's one-year birthday, and that's kind of a rare thing. We're blessed to be able to do that.
Family is everything. The older
is.
I get, family and health are all that matters. Takes you years of perspective to get to that point.
So you want some good news?
Oh, please. I love good
Inventory's
news.
starting to uptick.
Dude, I've noticed. And I
Big
just
time.
saw
Big time.
on the ticker in the studio. For those that don't know, we have a number of TVs
You talking
in
about
the
my
studio.
ticker? I'm over 60. You don't be talking about my ticker when I'm
Do you have
over 60.
a defibrillator in there? Pacemaker in there?
I'm just
You're in good shape, my friend.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You're in good health. You ride your bike. You get after it. You take care of yourself.
Yep.
You're the pinnacle of health.
I've got issues. No, behave.
I would not have taken the bait. I have too much.
Bullshit. You're that big old grin on your face.
I have too much love for you to take
Thank
that
you,
bait.
thank you,
Too much.
thank you.
Inventory is upticking. Mortgage rates are in the 6s, and I saw on CNBC this morning.
But remember,
Refinancing applications are upticking big time.
Yeah,
And
that
this
I
is a
don't
lot
get.
of people that secured 7+, flirting with 8 that are refinancing now. Now, Keith is going to speak.
the last 12 months or so.
Right,
12,
right.
24, yeah.
Keith is going to speak to this, then I'll get out of his way. I understand that rates are in the sixes, mid sixes, low sixes, depending on your credit score. This is what Keith is going to say.
Should I
A
just
large
leave?
portion-
Should I just leave and let you do this?
A large portion of the home ownership population, and by large portion, it's probably north of 70% now. That number is eroding because people have to sell their homes due to death, divorce, job loss.
We're going to talk about
which
that.
I've learned from you, and he's going to talk about that.
We've got some national data to back that up today.
What you were going to say is there's still a large portion of the ownership in America and in Central Virginia and the Charlottesville area that have rates below 4.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
Yeah.
I think it's closer to 80%, to be honest with you. But the 20% that don't, that are in this 7 or 8% range,
Are going to be incentivized.
Yeah. I mean, the rule of thumb is anywhere between 1 to 2 points. Closer to 2 points, right? 2 percentage points lower. It kind of makes sense because it's going to cost you money to do it. But we've dropped pretty darn close to that. But last 7 days, today going backwards, car footprint, and it's actually greater than the car footprint. And we'll talk about that here in a minute, because I was looking this morning at what came on the market. Louise is continuing to be the rock star on inventory, but there's 47 that came on the market 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now, again, it was the holidays. We were at 15, 16, 17 units, right? So, the last time I had to go back, the last time that we had a 7-day window that had 40 or over was back in July, because as everybody knows, Smith learned how to take pictures and it dates and times them. So we're kind of back in midsummer inventory that's coming on the market, and we're in January. So you know what, guys? Spring market sprung.
And I'll continue with this prediction. And before I get to my prediction that I've proclaimed from the tip top of Carter's Mountain, frankly speaking, just from behind this microphone on the I Love CVille Network. Stephanie Wells Rhodes, I want to highlight first.
Hey, Stephanie.
Intrastate Service Company. Intrastate is a home's best friend. ISC is who you want to call for
Particularly,
anything.
you want to get your home on the market. These are the folks you need to call.
Intrastate Service Company.
Right, because we're ticking up. That means competition is picking up.
Stephanie, we should get you back on the show.
Absolutely.
Mr. Wells, your brother, on the show.
We need to
Robbie on the show.
Having the right features and condition is the one that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Here is super important.
She says Larry Rose, which is her fantastic husband, is PP, the letters PP,
Yeah.
for short for Grampy. My father-in-law started off as Pappy T, and our oldest, when he was 2 to 3 years old, could not say Pappy T. So he just said PP.
What's the T referring to?
Tim.
Got it.
And he just said PP, and he came up with PP by calling my father-in-law, well, interestingly,
As a guy who's north of 60,
taking a PP.
I'm
He
looking-
goes, oh, this is PP. Oh, that's PP, and it stuck.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're going to leave that one alone because this is a family-friendly show. But when you get over a certain age, But so I'm looking at.
So my prediction, is we will see inventory continue to uptick throughout 2024 as rates fall, and the chitter chatter is rates are going to continue to fall as we head into Q1 or beyond Q1 into Q2 and into Q3. I mean, eventually folks are going to weigh the scales of justice and say, let's put this equity into motion, this money into motion. Even though we're going to have a higher rate, we have significant equity.
So absolutely. So I just did of the 48 that came on the market. I just did some quick math. By far the largest is Albemarle County, which is about 24 to 48. The second largest.
Largest what? Units coming on market?
What jurisdictions have the most? Thank you. Have the most units that came on in the last 7 days? Where the homes are, right? So it's about 24 of them were in Albemarle. Only 2 in Charlottesville, 1 in Fluvanna, 4 in Greene, 3 in Nelson. Everything else, which is 12 of them, if I did the count right, it was in Louisa. So Louisa, we talked about this on the show a couple of last week when we ran up our year-end numbers. The rock star as far as volume of sales goes was Louisa. The Rockstar also, the second, the 10-ton elephant as far as value goes is Albemarle. The second one is Louisa, right? And I'd have to pull it up to quote the exact numbers here. But, so they're increasing in their sales and then that, and we've been talking about this for the last few shows that I've been keeping a closer eye on that, and I'm going to keep tracking that to see if it keeps on going. But yeah, we jumped from, below 20 consistently for the last couple of months to almost 50.
And we need to highlight how important it is to have units come on the market. This impacts not just realtors or real estate agents. This impacts title companies, appraisers. This impacts home inspectors. This impacts photographers of homes to get them ready to list on the MLS. This impacts remodeling companies, one of the best, if not the best, Intrastate service company, a home's best
Cheers.
friend. This impacts landscapers.
Everybody
This impacts
that's on our partners tab. But if
the supply chain of inventory coming on the market is as important of any supply chain in Central Virginia, except for maybe the University of Virginia
well, if
and
the
the
good doctor was
spies,
sitting here,
and the spies, the
spies.
government contractors, if you may. I call them the spies.
they're not all spies,
Not all of them spies,
but enough of them are.
it's fancy to say. It's fun to say on the
Enough
talk
of
show.
them are.
Yeah.
I used to have a top secret clearance that kind of I understand that world.
James Watson, Aaron King,
Hey,
hello.
James.
Mr. DL, hello.
But if the good doctor was sitting here, what she would tell us, because I would ask her, what she would tell us, because we know this, that our ecosystem, the housing ecosystem, is second
To government contract
the
and the Commonwealth of
well, to
Virginia.
the government,
To the
the
government,
overall
yeah.
government, and that of course is local government, state government. Now
And that's in the Commonwealth.
that's in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Now, we have that includes military. Right?
I'd say we're probably third in Central Virginia, real estate.
Well, again, I'm trying to reschedule the good doctor because one of the things that I really want to talk to her about.
Because one's UVA, two's the spies. 1.2 billion economic impact for the spies. You think real estate's 1.2 billion economic impact to match the spies in Central Virginia?
I don't know the answer to that, and I would be.
I'm shocked that Carr hasn't commissioned an analysis or a study similar to the white paper that the chamber co-commissioned in conjunction with Albemarle and Charlottesville City on the spies and the economic impact.
Well, I can't speak for Carr, but I can speak for the Regional Housing Partnership because
You're a part of it.
I'm currently the vice chair and had a great conversation with Ned yesterday. Who's the
Ned
chair.
Galloway?
Ned Galloway.
Albemarle County Board of Supervisor.
And one of the things that I am pushing for the Regional Housing Partnership, maybe Carr might want to participate in this, is to do exactly the same thing on housing. So we actually could have that document and we would know that. But if the good doctor was, if Lisa was here, what I wanted to focus a lot on, because I don't anyway, have access to this information in our MLS or our stats. I have to look elsewhere for it, of things like why are people moving in and out. So we're going to talk about it from United Van Lines. They do their year-end.
You love that.
Well, they've been doing it since 1977. The reason I love it, this is real world stuff. These are people that are actually moving from point A to point B, and they ask the right questions. So it's interesting. We might as well. Do you want to take a dive into some of that
Let's
stuff?
go. I think Judah has slides.
Yeah, so why don't you jump on slide number 8, right?
Ooh.
So we're going to focus on what is the primary reason for moving, right? So this is what they ask, and the breakdown is retirement, health, family, lifestyle, job, and cost, right? So retirement, health, family, lifestyle, and job are self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So people know cost actually means cost of living, right? People are moving here because the cost of living is higher or lower from where they're coming. And I do have a spreadsheet. So just a moment, please. I have to check my spreadsheet.
Keith came prepared. I have the spreadsheet right here.
You have the
Keith,
spreadsheet.
thank you for making this copy.
Yeah,
Judah, does
well-
Judah have this slide?
That is not a slide.
Okay.
I should have done that,
Okay.
but I didn't do that. I would classify this as a cheat sheet.
No, this is not a cheat sheet.
Smith doesn't have to do the math.
This is an organization presentation tool.
Huh?
an organization presentation tool.
Huh?
Management of perception. It's such a key tool to life.
So let's just take a look at job. And the reason I want to focus on that real quick is we've been talking about this for a while. The jump from 2022 to 2023 is almost 15%. So there's 15% more of the people that moved inbound. So these are people that came from other states or other areas, their states in particular. These are not internal, right?
And this is Virginia Commonwealth-wide.
This is the Commonwealth of Virginia, right?
So 15% additional people moved to the Commonwealth that cited job as the motivation for their move.
Now, if we want to get real technical about it, about 5% left. So if we round it up a little bit, we had a 10% gain because you got to take out what left. And
That's still an incremental gain.
That is a huge gain. If you take a look at those particular numbers, that's it. The other thing that was most noteworthy to me, to take a look at the retirement loss. We lost about 11, 12% of people moved out for retirement. But do me a favor. Because
how about the income?
That's what I want to jump to.
Get this. Can I put it in perspective?
Sure. That'll be slide number 9.
Slide 9. This is a fantastic show. You're about to learn a hell of a lot of stuff here on slide 9.
Huh?
Income inbound. People inbound to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Income at the 150,000.
Do the 150.
The 150,000 household income threshold. The Commonwealth inbound had an uptick of 11.81%.
Let's call it 12.
12%. Outbound, they lost nobody at that level.
0.34. So for all intents and purposes,
nobody.
We gained.
Well, you gain over 12%.
We gained over 12%. But if you
over 150,000 household income, 150,000.
That's the whole state now, guys.
Whole state, Commonwealth, year over year, 2022 versus 2023, an uptick of 12% plus.
And this, if people want to know why we're at 123,300, that's it.
The HUD median income for Charlottesville MSA is 123,300. I saw former Mayor Nikia Walker put that on her Facebook page recently.
Age is a little difficult to break down.
He didn't want to. Okay, go ahead. I put that out there to see if you would.
You're such a schmuck.
You would take the bait. I wanted to see if you would take the bait over there. Go ahead.
Do you know what a schmuck is?
Okay. No, schmuck. One of your best friends.
We had it was pretty flat on 65 and up and 55 and up, but there was a loss.
Johnny Ornalis, que pasa, chico?
Hey, brother. There was a loss in the younger ages, the 18 to 34, and we're going to find out again when we get the good doctor on because I want to take a dive into this information, very specific to our look. Like politics, all real estate is local.
Oh yeah.
This is great state stuff, and it's great to know, and we can also look at the national stuff. But what's happening in our back door? Right, that's important, and that's what we try to do here, and that's what we try to do is get some accurate, updated, local
one-shot
information up on the out there. But at the end of the day, I'm not so sure we're going to be that far off. We might be upticked a little bit more. I think you might see a job float up. Now, back on this 150 and over, which is, we had, just to think about it, 52.5%. So over 50% of everybody who moved into this state was making north of 150 grand.
I mean, this goes with what Bloomberg said. Bloomberg said in 2022, they did a survey, Bloomberg, global media brand.
Did you see how low under 50 grand was?
Charlottesville in the global media brand Bloomberg's rankings was top 20 in the nation for the amount of people, the Charlottesville MSA, amount of people working hybrid or remote work.
Yeah. So if you combined the inbound.
People are coming here to work hybrid.
If you combine the 100.
It's a great place to live.
Well,
I Love CVille does a great job promoting.
And that's what we don't know, and that's what we're trying, I want to get from, because she has that data and say, okay, what jobs are actually coming in, what jobs are actually going out, what does the buyer look like, what does the seller look like. These are great high-level topics to talk about and numbers to talk about it. But again, moving into the state of Virginia, north of $100,000 is roughly 75% of the total amount of people that came in, right? 75% of the people that inbound to Virginia, if you add the 52 and the 25, it's north of 75%, somewhere around 76, 7%, right? That's almost 80 in my mind. That's only 20% of the rest was under that. And the question becomes,
Where are they going to live?
where are they going to live?
Ah,
Well, it's not so much that. It's
the question also becomes, with the bags of money they're coming, and as they
are they
consume,
coming with bags of money? Is that really what they're doing?
I mean, clearly, your data
Well-
justifies it.
Well, I think that insinuates that people are.
I mean, the HUD income money, median income, average, the median income according to HUD for the Charlottesville MSA is increasing.
Oh, it'll go up. That I can tell you that 123
It's going to be even higher.
is going to be higher. Yeah,
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 125 or north of 125.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're cannibalizing or consuming or purchasing real estate, homes, need a place to live, and are gentrifying the community and pushing lower income owners out to the detriment of businesses that need frontline workers.
So their last 7 days, 34 homes closed.
Okay?
12 of them were cash.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can only go back 30 days in this snapshot.
I mean, the all cash buyer is what, a third of the market roughly?
Well, I moved out of it, so whatever that math difference is, I wanted to see what the last 30 days look like. I realized that I only can go back 30 days in my quick little market monitor that they offer us, but there's in the last 30 days, that's complete car footprint, 217 units sold. Let's find out how many of them are cash.
I would bet you the all cash buyer, all right, I'll give you a realistic prediction. 25%, 25 to 30% all cash.
Well, somebody who's smarter than me needs to do the math.
Judah,
200
Liza the dog.
217 in the last 30 days
You
closed.
figured this out, Judah. You got a calculator here.
67 were cash. So
217 total, 67.
Somebody needs to do the math on that. Well, 50% would be roughly
I mean,
100.
you're talking 30%.
Yeah, I would say 30%.
You're talking 30% off the top of my head.
Yeah, roughly 30%. Yeah, and that's been consistent.
31%. Judah, you do that math?
217, 67.
Let's say 31%.
It's
Just
roughly
off the top
30.
of my head.
Let's call it a third for the sake of a talk show, and particularly for a guy who can't do math without a spreadsheet. But yeah, so
31% of buyers all cash over which period of time?
that's 30 days going back.
Think about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Now that keeps in, because I only could go 30 days back on this quick little snapshot I have. We can surely look at, okay, what had closed in all of Charlottesville, for instance. I could do that quickly and see how much of that was cash. But my suspicion is, and we've been tracking this on the show for a while, it's around 30%. But I'm wondering if anybody who's watching the feeds have any thoughts or comments on this particular data, particularly the income side of it. How do they feel about that, and any thoughts on that?
Judah Wickower, that number?
Yeah, I mean, you guys had it right. It's about 0.3.
0.3, roughly 30%. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I mean, that's going to change. And I have to emphasize this. I continue to emphasize this. That's before the impact of $11 billion from Amazon and Louisa. That's before the impact of $250 to $300 million of Northrop Grumman and Waynesboro. That's before the true opening of Paul Manning's Biotech Institute. And that's before the true opening of Jaffrey Woodruff's Data Science School.
So just to throw a little bit of a caveat on the 49 that just came on the market, 13 of them are new construction. And they arrange everything from actually built to paper houses. So 13 of the 49 are new construction. which you're going to start seeing more and more of.
I mean, if you have an opportunity to create any kind of new construction, it sells before the project even cracks dirt.
Well, yeah, that depends on the project, right?
It depends on the location. I
Right.
mean, I mean that a bit tongue-in-cheek, but you know what I mean.
Well, it's important to note that as a builder and developer in this current market, I kind of want to wait to the last minute to put a house on start going vertical with residential stuff. And that's what you're starting to see. You're definitively seeing that out in Flavanna and Colonial Circle. And oh, by the way, tag our good friend Chris Fairchild. He's now the chair of the Flavanna County Board of Supervisors.
Good job.
So, little kudos out to him.
Chris Fairchild's a good man.
He's a good man, and he will run those meetings super efficiently. That I can guarantee.
What's he want to do when he gets out of the meeting?
Pardon?
What's he doing when he gets out of the meeting?
You're going to have to ask him that question. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone a little bit.
I love it. I love Chris.
Yeah. When he's going to get out of the meeting?
Yeah, when he gets out of the meeting.
He's probably going to have a sip or something.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you be efficient with the meeting.
Yeah. Oh, no. He'll be super efficient in the meeting, and the meetings will be run.
What do you think I said?
My hearing aids are getting a little squelchy on me here, so I don't know what I actually heard
I
you
just
say.
meant, you run an efficient meeting.
I am over 60, so, and I have hearing aids. And
His birthday's tomorrow.
I'm of a certain age that we go ahead and do that. But yeah, so it's interesting, new construction new units came on outside of Albemarle County. The rock star is Louisa.
Todd Rath, welcome to the show.
Actually had a couple of folks text me after the show the other day about looking into Louisa as far as buying and selling and stuff like that. So you're going to start seeing Louisa uptick a little bit, definitely green. But I think we've been saying that for a while.
We have been. Scott Q, welcome to the program. Say hello to Scott.
Hey, Scott, how's it going, brother?
Seth Liskey, the real estate investor, and Stanton, welcome to the show. Kyle Miller, wishing you
Kyle.
the best. Wishing you the best, Kyle.
Yeah. And I caught one of his shows the other day. Well done.
Kyle Miller, the Kyle Miller Show, Thursdays at 2:15 p.m. on the I Love CVille Network.
That puts you with how many shows now?
He's back in the saddle next Thursday. Kyle's taking care of some family time.
Good for him.
Back in the saddle on Thursday. We have
5, right?
5 shows in the 10:15 a.m. slot, Monday through Friday, including one of our favorites, Real Talk with Keith Smith. Also have the Jerry and Jerry Show and Today Yonna.
You realize I self-relate.
We have the I Love CVille Show Monday through Friday at 12:30. We have the Juicy Details, which is the second episode with Hillary Lewis Murray.
How did that go? I didn't get a
Phenomenal.
chance to watch it. Good.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Good.
She is Wednesdays at 2:15 p.m. The Kyle Miller Show Thursdays at 2:15 p.m. Judah, let's weave you in on a 3-shot. We were chattering yesterday about an additional show to the lineup at 2:15 p.m. yesterday.
Are we allowed to talk about it? Okay.
There could be 2 new additions to the 2:15 p.m. lineup.
So that would put you at a total of what?
There's no network in Charlottesville or the Central Virginia area that's creating more localized programming or on-air content than the I Love CVille Network. And it's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, that puts us at what, Judah? 5, 10. I mean, you're talking 20-plus hours a week. And Judah's like, gosh.
Will you stop, please?
Double hoppy.
Yep.
Will you stop,
Something like
please?
It's pretty good. For something started from scratch. Questions coming in fast and furious right here.
Thank
Put them
you.
in the feed. I will relay them live on air. If you want to shape the discussion, put it in the feed. I'll relay it live on air. Spencer watching the program. Spencer, we love when you watch the show and ask questions. Kevin Yancey, good morning. Spencer says this to Keith. The secret's out on Louisa. How much more inventory can they accommodate?
That's the $64,000 question for those of us that remember that game show back in the 1800s. It was called the $64,000 question. I remember it as a kid watching it. The unique thing about Louisa right now is the ability for their zoning ordinances are a little different. And I don't want to geek out here in a while, but in Louisa County, you can go out and buy 50 or 100 acres still on a state road and cut it up to a bunch of 2-acre lots.
Okay.
Most jurisdictions, you can't do that. Fulvana County, you can't do that. Albemarle County, you can't do that. So you're starting, that's been happening in the last 12 to 24 months, and you're starting to see that. So that's why you'll see some of these smaller builders building units, because the ability to develop is so easy, is much easier, right? So to compare it to Fulvana, for instance,
Okay.
you only can subdivide it into, say, 5 lots or 3 lots, and it depends on how much road frontage you have on it. And they do have a cluster development, which is a cluster, bleep,
Cluster duck, quack, quack, quack.
quack, quack, which I don't even want to go down the road of explaining it. The bottom line with that is you can't do it unless you have central water and sewer. So that kind of pretty much takes that development off the table. I actually did the first and only one in Fulvana County back 100 years ago in it. So you still can do that kind of development in Louisa County. You can still get out and acquire acreage that is on a state road, carve it up into 2-acre lots, put well and septic on it, and kind of hit this 350, 325, 375 new construction number. That's going to hit a saturation level at some point. Eventually, you're just going to run out of dirt to go ahead and do that. But, I think it's still going to uptick. I really do.
You really
Prices
do?
are going to start going up, though.
Oh, like today,
Well,
tomorrow.
if we look at, what do we want to do? We want to do average or median price?
You
What do
like
think?
median best?
I like median only because it fractures stuff in and out. Judah, I believe it's side 4, which is this one.
We'll get to these comments here,
Thank
viewers
you.
and listeners.
Well, let's do this real quick. So median 2003. This is all property types. This is single-family attached condos, everything, existing, new construction. Albemarle County 2023 was 505. Fulvana, the city of Charlottesville was 459. The next highest of the 1, 2, 3, 4 remaining jurisdictions was Louisa at 400. So it went, you would expect Charlottesville and Albemarle to be up there, but the next highest of all the jurisdictions is Louisa County. I think that's going to keep on going. I think your inventory is going to pick up there, and at some point it might cap out. But at the moment, I think you're going to see the next 12 to 24 months that still being the rock star with Greene County, which we talk about.
Kevin Yancey highlights Augusta County can do the same. Keith Smith.
Yeah, I haven't done Augusta. I haven't done the other side of the hill. I mean, I don't mean to, complain. I am a Marine, so nagging and complaining comes natural to me. But to do what we've done so far for 2023 is a ton of time and work. But so that you know, Kevin, I am working on pulling in the data for the other side of the hill, plus Buckingham County, right? To start taking a look at how that's looking 2023 versus 19 versus 16.
Griffin Mark, welcome to the show, watching on the I Love CVille Facebook page. Sam Soul Sikdar, watching on the I Love CVille Facebook page. Spencer follows up, which jurisdictions will have no inventory coming on market if he highlights Louisa's inventory coming on market?
Well,
I mean, I think that's pretty clear.
yeah, I'll let you jump in on that. I think I know what it is, but I'm just curious what
I would say Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Fulvana, you're not going to see much inventory.
You'll see it in Albemarle because it's picking up. No, I'm not talking about new inventory. I'm talking about,
That's what he's asking.
yeah, new inventory as in construction. New
construction is what he's talking about.
Got it. Yeah, it's
Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Fulvana.
it's going. The new inventory, we've talked about this. I was at a Greene County board meeting last night. Greene County will be the rock star.
Yeah, but Greene County's tapped after the stuff that's in the pipe is completed.
But that number is about 1,800.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So so you've got a substantial amount. So the bell curve on that.
But there's not going to be any more after that.
Well,
Not for some time.
Well,
The appetite is.
well,
Rob Neal, hello.
well. The time that it's going to take to build all of that out, there'll be 1 or 2 cycles
You're talking supervisor changes.
There potentially will be.
Wait till Greene County
election
sees
cycles.
the construction of 1,800 individual units, and
Yeah, so that's
what
spread
local
throughout-
residents are going to think
That's
about.
spread throughout the county, different locations, so forth and so on. Well, it also will bring in new people that may think differently, right? So, but the fact of the matter is that's going to take time. And, as Neil Williamson likes to quote it, in the state of Virginia, we have an election every year. So, every 1 to 2 years, you're going to have some sort of Board of Supervisors seat up. Now, if folks are running against them, it's a different story. But, yeah.
Michael Buchensky, First Heritage
Hey,
Mortgage's
Michael.
finest Coach B.
So how is he seeing the rates?
He says, as the Fed cuts rates, all areas will see an increase in pre-existing home inventory.
I agree. Again, looking at the 49 that just came on, the lion's share of it by somewhere around 20-something, 22, 24, are Albemarle County.
Coach B, what's your prediction for the 30-year fixed with a credit score of, let's say, 700 and above? If you want to go as high as 740, we can do that. 700 above, 740 above, 30-year fix on June 1. Now, you know what? Let's go start of the second quarter, Coach B. April 1, 30-year fixed, April 1, with a 700 or 740 or above. What do you see the rate at? Curious of what Coach B says.
Well, I'm going to check what it is right now because one of
What are you using, Housing Wire?
Exactly right.
Housing Wire.
How do you know that?
I know you well.
Damn.
I'm a man who studies habits.
A man who studies habits.
Because if you know someone's habits, you can start
You can
making.
you can serve them.
Well, you can. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, you can start making
Really?
predictions.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. He says more like third quarter, likely high 5%. Third quarter. 5%, high 5 in the third quarter, Q3.
Well, I am working on this right now.
What do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be second quarter, Coach B? That question's come on the feed for you, Michael Buchensky.
I need to.
And Keith is looking right now. I just saw it on CNBC. You're looking mid-6s, depending on your score.
Yeah, I'm trying to, for whatever reason.
You're getting a question, Coach B, on a different Facebook page from Thomas, who's asking second quarter to early summer what he sees the rates to be at. Todd Rath, jump in here.
Look, the reality of it is we're seeing this by the jump of inventory, the jump of people going out. As I predicted, as the interest rates started moving down, you're going to get more people in it. So there doesn't have to be a floor.
Buchensky
number.
says 6.5-ish now, 6.5-ish now.
Yeah.
So by early second quarter, you're looking at low to mid-6s.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to look at right here is, what does it depend on your credit score? And I am working on that for whatever reason.
Makes a big difference, that score.
Sure does. Here we go. Found it. Got it.
What do you got?
I am working on it, sir. So as of January 7th, that's the latest that this has. So I'm going to have to go and pivot, guys, here for a second.
Coach B, what percentage of your refinance business is your overall book of business? Is refinancing now, you're talking about a 1.5 swing since October. What percentage of your book of business right now is refis? I would imagine it's starting to pop some. Buchensky says you can get an FHA and a VA rate in the high 5% now with a point or so. You buy a point.
There you go.
Buy a point, you can
So
get a
I'm
high
looking at it right
5s. I would imagine his refi business is popping.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. But what I'm also looking at, just a quick analysis on it, and I would love Coach B's. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Coach B's assessment on it. If you have not a stellar credit rating,
Yeah.
it's about a half a point extra. So I would love his read on it real quick on, if I have, kind of an entry level credit score, what is that jumping? But at the moment, if you've got a stellar credit rating, according to HouseWire, a 30-year conforming, you're at roughly 6.68, so around 6.6. 6.5, somewhere around that.
Mark L.
FHA is
DeBoe.
below 6.5, by the way.
Mark L. DeBoe watching the program. He says, Keith, any predictions on 2024 percentage of new real estate tax assessment increases in the city of Charlottesville? 10% or less when statements go out at the end of January? It's important to highlight this, Mark, and you know you likely already know this. The assessments are tied to market value of houses. So the city can do very little when it comes to the assessment. What they can control is the real estate tax rate, however. I would imagine assessments year over year when they come out in January are going to see a double-digit assessment increase.
So if you...
I mean, I just got mine on the commercial profile that I own, and it was
the real
difficult pill to swallow.
Yeah. Well, so we talk about this time of the year every year, right?
You're going to contest.
You can contest. We typically get phone calls all the time about this, about can you do me an assessment on it? But it's a three-legged stool, right? So one of it is the assessment. I do, and our good friend Woody Fincham with Fincham Associates.
Love Woody Fincham. Fincham Associates, one of the best in the game.
You know, appraisal, or excuse me, assessment. Let me rephrase it. Say this again. Assessment does not necessarily equate market value. So let's not conflate the two. But what happens is the jurisdiction does a property assessment. The second part of that leg is their budget, and the third part of that leg is the rate. So, you know, the value is the value.
The value they have no control of.
They have, it's whatever the assessor comes up with, but they do control.
But the assessor's tying it to market value.
Not necessarily. I mean, I can tell you.
I understand a lot of them check in lower, but...
Some check in higher. Some check in higher. I will tell you, in Fluvanna County, that happened to me last year.
But in Fluvanna County, isn't it a fly-by assessor?
No.
It's not. Isn't it an out-of-market assessor?
It is an out-of-market
Right.
assessor.
Right.
It's not an in-house.
When it's an out-of-market assessor, those mistakes are more prevalent.
Yeah, and we contested it and
Right.
won.
Right.
So the second part, the second and the third leg.
Hillary Lewis Murray watching the program. Que pasa, chica? The star of the Juicy Details.
Ooh. The second and the third leg, the jurisdiction does control. That's the budget and the rate. So those three things typically get timed.
Well, let's cut to the chase. The city's going to raise the budget.
Well, it's going to have to.
They're going to spend more money.
And
And the number one driver of filling the budget or funding the budget is rooftops.
Correct, because there's a majority, depending on the jurisdiction, but by and far, it's typically rooftops.
Yeah.
Albemarle and Charlottesville have a little bit more, and Neil Williamson.
Business revenue or commercial revenue.
He does a great report.
Fluvanna's over 90% tied to rooftops.
About 96, 95%.
Which should really concern residents.
Yeah, like I
Fluvanna.
said last year. Last year was the first year I actually paid more cash for my house than if it was in Albemarle County. It's cash. It's cash, brother.
No, I get it.
You know.
You should put that in perspective a little more of what you mean. Unpack that.
So my tax assessed value and my rate, I pay X dollars. If I were to pick my house up and it's 2 acres, right, central water and sewer, and drop it somewhere in Albemarle County, my value would go up. My assessed value would go up, even though the rate went down a little bit.
Yeah.
The rate's lower. Cash, side by side, I would pay exactly the same amount. Okay, it's about $100 off. But I would pay exactly the amount of cash. So when you do your three-legged, three math
Because
scenario,
your assessed value would probably uptick somewhere between 30 and 35%, maybe 40%.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, but
But you're saying it would be counterbalanced by a lower tax rate.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
That's a hell of a counterbalance on the tax rate. That's why I'm giving a little hemming and hawing.
well, no, but it's a thing, right? And this is why people need to pay attention to it, right? And we talk about this all the time.
Where the rubber meets the road is budget
is
time
where
with
the
local
rubber-
electeds.
This is
Is
why
that what you were going to say?
This is why all politics are local, because it affects your pocketbook.
It does.
Right, on that stuff. But
It
yeah,
does.
so if I was smart enough and fast enough, I could probably do a quick city value year over year, but I only have it broken down in front of me in 4-year 4-year increments.
Michael Buchensky says, I would not refinance now. I told all my clients with rates in the 7%, we need to look to wait until mid-year to the third quarter. I think there will be an initial drop, which is what we are seeing now, but there will be another drop or 2 or 3 once they start to cut rates, so I hold off on refinancing until the second or third quarter drop.
And does he agree with
That's a good
assessment?
No, that's a good trusted advisor right there, because a lot of folks in his category of business, especially after 13 to 18 months of
limited funds,
of crickets, would jump on any opportunity to do business.
Well, so this is why you use the term trusted advisor, right?
Yeah.
And this is why you need trusted advisors in your category, in your thing, because sometimes doing this is not in your best interest. But all he does is he builds trust and relationship.
Yeah, because the last thing he would want to do would be irk clients who refinance now, and then in the third quarter, the rates get into the 5s.
And they drops another point.
Yeah, and they're like, what the heck did you just advise us to do?
So that's the reason why I counsel our clients, if you want to do this, you want to get as close to 2% spread as possible. And, that is, when we start flirting in the low 6s, we're getting close, because we were almost, we were hovering at 8 for a while there. So if you bought at 8 and you're somewhere and it hits about 6 or sub 6, I would love him to disagree with me on this, but that would be my advice. That okay, we're starting to get there, that this is making sense, because I don't think it's going to go much below 5.5. So when you start getting somewhere around 6.
The real question is, if it hits 6, and we're all seeing 6 on the 30 fixed in 2024, and folks got 3 to 4 during COVID, locked in 3 to 4 to COVID, will they sidestep the 2 to 5% increase to put their equity into motion?
So the good doctor and I were having a conversation in prep for today that just didn't happen. But what I wanted to talk to her about, I've been doing this for 35 years. There's never been this golden handcuffs scenario. I think that's going to impact inventory probably more than we know. And it's not necessarily, well, I'm not going to move. People are going to move.
No, they're going to keep their house as a rental.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, and that's what the UVA professor that watches this show made the economics professor that sent us essentially a 2,000-word analysis.
And I don't.
He sent that to us 14 months ago.
And I don't think he's going to be wrong, because what's happening is I own this house.
It's an asset.
Well, not only is it an asset, but it's an asset that's appreciating at huge amounts.
Right.
Right? So now I can use that cash to work with.
Yeah.
Right? So if I go into Mike and I'm at 2% or 3%, even if it drops to say 5.5, is there any way that I can go ahead and figure out a way to capitalize on some of my cash out of this house so I can acquire something else and buy? So it becomes a math and an ROI problem, exercise, not a problem. But
I will say this, not everyone is cut out to be, Carly Wagner, I'll get to your comments in a matter of moments, not everyone is cut out to be a landlord.
No, that's I will tell you, we only own one rental. I used to own 14. I will never go back to the point of not having somebody like Ally Property Management manage my rental properties. Now, the delta between what we bought it for and what the rent is quite large, and I can absorb that expense and I don't have to deal with it. I constantly forget that I have a rental.
Carly Wagner watching the program, she says, or even if you have a 2% loan, if you choose to move up or are forced to move, would you sell? Would you rent? She would rent.
And wait.
No, she would hold the house that has the 2% loan on it, and then she would she would rent it.
Sure, because if something, rent the home.
She'd rent the home.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we're talking about, right? But that means you either had to have enough cash built up, right, to buy, because you're probably going to.
Or she pulls out money against it.
She pulls out money against it. That's it. And then
not every financing vehicle allows you to do that, to go purchase another residence. Now you can
Your
do
rates
it,
are more expensive.
and you can time it in certain ways where
Yeah, let's not go down that
it's on the
road.
hush hush.
Yeah.
Buchensky says you want to start looking at it once the new rate is 1% lower than what they currently have.
Got it.
A lot of current clients are there right now, but I still think the rate they wait until the Fed market cuts, especially going into an election year. The current administration would love to say, look how great we are doing, and if rates are lower in, say, June, they will have their talking point.
100%. And that's really some great advice to wrap the show up on. 1% is good, but I think holding on and waiting until it gets to 2%, and you get somebody like Mike that's in your corner.
Mike, you should come on the show.
Absolutely, you're invited anytime. So when it starts getting, looks like it's climbing to 2, but then it's going closer to 1, then you just pull the trigger and get going. Unless you absolutely need the cash now. And
Carly says you could do a HELOC. There are some fine prints on the HELOC that doesn't allow you to parlay that into other real estate purchases, my friend.
Well,
now you can time it certain ways, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything.
And there's also a distance question, primary residence versus secondary residence, and that all depends upon your rate. I will tell you the best deal to do is buy something, and we don't have enough time to talk about this because we're over time. Is it like we do? We did a seller finance. That's like the best.
That's how I bought all my stuff.
That's the best way to do that.
14 of those.
So, Mike, you're welcome to come on and keep us straight, please. You're a rock star, and you add a lot to the show.
He says shoot him a few dates. He's in.
Got it. We'll do it.
Shoot him a few dates. Keith Smith's birthday is tomorrow. Wish him a happy birthday. Keith Smith's birthday is tomorrow.
Cupcake. Did you notice
Wish him a happy birthday. There is no Real Talk on Friday. He's going to be in Richmond spending time with his granddaughter, his daughter, and son-in-law. Judah Wickhauer, the director of this fine and fair talk show, the I Love CVille show at 12:30. And the second episode of The Juicy Details with Hillary Lewis Murray at 2:15 p.m. Thank you kindly for joining us. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's 5 years of doing it, or almost 5 years of doing this.